Okay, and we're back with another quick tutorial. I've just got done from doing some mining, and I've relocated my furnace. I have a couple of things in this. One is what to do after you built your airlock and little room there. Just ignore all the expansions, had some post-production problems. That wire just in case. We need one more wire for this guy, which is going to take the drill to deconstruct. There. Now let's rebuild this. Those are plastic. And come over here.
Light on. Light off. Light on.
And throw our copper in there. Grab this drill. Put it in our APC. And now we've got a battery storage out here that if we ever need a battery while we're outside, and let's switch that. Let's turn this on real quick. Turn that on.
Light off.
And yeah, of course, we need 4 cables. So yeah, we're just shy of enough oh no, that's right, we had these over here. Forgot we had the ones we took out of there.
Light off.
Now a screwdriver, and then we'll go ahead and turn that off, and we'll build some cables. So we'll come over here, we'll grab our copper, we'll throw it in here, and that'll make us a bunch of cables so we can wire everything up out here. Now while it's daylight too, I'm gonna go do some mining. Do some quick mining, probably grab, see if I can't find some gold. Bunch more copper, and we'll go up this mountain, and as you can see, you can find lead, and usually around on the ground I don't find a whole lot of lead or any of the silver or other types of rare materials, but if you go up this mountain, and I can circle around this mountain all day long. While we're on it, we're going to grab us a piece of coal real quick. Oh, I thought that was some object. There's a bit of iron. We're going to watch it. Sure, we don't do too much. That's enough. I want to leave a spot for some gold if I can ever find it. Ah, gold. And that is nickel. And nickel's another one, a really hard one to find, unless they changed it. I've always had trouble trying to find nickel. And we're also going to, alright, so now we're going to go. When we get home, we just climb right over top, and we can dig out the rest of this copper here for another. That's enough. And there's our base. So after you built your airlock and you've got your one solar panel, as you can see I've removed mine. and ended up moving it out that way. So you built your airlock. The next thing you should do is you want to come in here and build an electronics printer. And that's going to cost you 20 gold, 20 iron, 2 gold, and 10 copper. You go ahead and print that out and place it in your little workspace. After you've done that, you want some solar panels. You want about 5 total, including the one that you already have. And that's going to cost you another 10 iron, 5 gold, and 20 copper. It's 50 iron, 25 gold, and 100 copper. So you're going to go out, you're going to mine for all these resources and try to do it all in one trip and save you some time. As if you kind of randomly going around and doing other things out back and forth, you may end up running out of power. So one solar panel is not enough power to produce for all these machines plus your suit. So one thing you can do if you want to save just a little bit of power is come in here and press 3 and bring the temperature down a little bit. You can bring it down to about 0°C, which that may change. I don't know. But on Lulon it gets to -10 and you can still survive outside. So, and also you want at least 50 cables, ought to do. Then you're going to come up, and you're going to place your solar panels down and drop them down in line, just like so. And you got your data network on one side, and we come around here, and we got our power network. Oh, and you also need a daylight sensor. And don't worry about that one, and we'll cover that one at another time. So you're going to go ahead and print all that out, and I have a light here. Then come back over here, and you want 2 logic IO, which cost 1 gold, 1 copper, 2 logic memory. I'm sorry, 3 logic memory and 3 logic processors. What the logic processors do are math problems. The memory is just to store a number, and the logic IO is for reading and writing different functions. You're going to print that out, and then you're going to come up, and like I say, if you just want to extend it from my original 3x3 grid, 2x3 grid, just extend it out here. You can move it later because you really don't want to be using too much jetpack power. I only have 988 left, so it's getting kind of tough. I'm going to have to make sure to make that a priority to have a place to fill it. And what you're going to do is first thing is make sure you have enough space, and it doesn't matter if you're on this side or you can even set it up on this side. Let's go ahead and put that back. It does make it easier putting it on the sunrise side, or however, yeah, at the start of your solar panels. So you're going to come in, you're going to put your daylight sensor in, and then your daylight sensor, and then skip every other space. Like so, and that should be enough. So you're going to need a logic reader, daylight sensor goes here, a logic reader, a logic math, a min-max, and a batch writer. And it's going to look like this. New math, a min-max, and a batch writer. And then you come in and just place your cables like so. You don't need to power it or anything. You're just going to put these in and set them in place like that. So I can come in here and I can hit it. Notice I didn't label anything. If you connect all this together, you will have to label everything together. So I can just hit this as many times as I want, and the only option I get is that daylight sensor. And I want the solar angle. So here's where it says in from the daylight sensor. The variable is the solar angle, 176. And don't worry about it. It is past sunset, but it is still going to read it. Even though it says question mark, you see I got 173. So my logic math, I'm going to hit that, and I want to pick up the logic reader. My second item is going to be, for this we need, this is where the memory comes in. So it's going to read from that memory. And I want it I want the logic memory. I want to subtract. So I'm going to take 162 and subtract 15. What we can do here is you can adjust these by 100, or holding C will adjust by tens, and these will increase by 1 or decimal place. So I'm going to set that to 15. Oh, increase by 10. So I'm going to take the logic reader, the logic memory, take these two numbers, and I want to subtract them. 1, subtract 2. And the same thing goes over here. But this time, instead of subtracting 1 minus 2, or math unit, logic memory, we're going to divide. Then we're going to come over, this part is optional. You don't have to have it, but I like to have it. We're going to take the logic memory, this guy here, and sorry, not the, did I say logic memory? I want the logic math, and I want this logic memory. This one's set to 100, and sorry, I forgot, this one's set to 1.5. So it's minus 15, divide by 1.5, and I want the less of the two. So it's going to compare. Is this number greater or this number greater? I want the lesser of the two. And you can do greater and less, but we want less. And then we have a batch writer. We want to take that number from the min-max and output to the solar panels. We want to set it to vertical. Now a batch writer, which I can show you here, I'm going to take a logic, we're having a right around to another spot. We got logic, it starts off with logic reader. We want to scroll down to logic writer. I'm going to take from the min-max, and I'm going to output to a solar panel, and I'm going to set it to vertical. See 64, and watch, now that last one down here is going to move. So this one's moving. And if I change that to another solar panel, that one's going to move. So that's what that does, is it only sets one at a time. But if I use a batch writer, solar panel, now all of a sudden there's only one solar panel option in there. There isn't multiple of them. I want to set that to vertical, and you notice all of them move at the same time. So that will move all your solar panels all at once. And since I had that on while I was changing options, it ended up coming over here and adjusting this. I don't want for that to change. I want to set these all to a 90-degree angle or negative 90, depending on which way this port is facing. I believe that, let's see, maybe the port, if it was facing south, is 0 degrees, I'm not sure, or the power port goes off the power port facing north. And that's how you automate solar. Don't worry about that one. That one's for horizontal, which I'm not sure, which I do not have hooked up right at the moment because I don't have that one hooked in. So on Mars, you only need one access. You can do two, but to get away with it, if you just want to simplify it, you can get away with one access. On the moon, you only need one access whatsoever. On Mars, if you just add an extra solar panel, it compensates for the difference that you'll be losing, which it's not a lot, and on a small base, even 5 solar panels will cover you. Unless you're constantly changing out your batteries, just go up to 6. Or you always leave every single machine on and you got lights, just go in and all you have to do is add another solar panel, adjust the horizontal rotation. That's your horizontal and that's your vertical, and I cannot change the vertical. It'll keep resetting because this one keeps writing to it and changing it. So you can get away with just one axis tracking. And then you want to make sure that is there. Now if you don't have enough solar panels, and sometimes it goes down through the night because you left everything on, what you can do is set one of these to face sunrise and disconnect the power port, the data port, so it just bypasses it, and that way every morning you will always have one facing sunrise, as these will continuously tip over towards the sunset. It's actually tracking the sun. Right now the sun is down in that direction on the other side, so they track the sun 24/7, or is it 22/7 for a Mars day. And then what you want to do is you're going to come back down, and we're going to try to limit our jetpack usage from here. And I kind of played around with it. If you're sitting still, the jetpack doesn't get used. I'm not 100% certain on that, but so now we're going to come in here, and what we want is an AP. Let's type power. We want an area power controller. That's going to take 3 solder, which we don't have. So you're going to have to come over. The next step is to turn around and print yourself a furnace. And like so, that's 30 iron and 10 copper. So there is our furnace. There's frame. So now we're going to rotate this. I'm going to just hit C until it's sideways. However, space always seems to be an issue here. So a lot of people turn it sideways, so there you can reach. I can't really. What if? See, I'll be able to reach everything from right here. And I don't think that this should be allowed to do that, but it does. Oh, a wrench and 2 sheets. Then we need a welding torch and 2 sheets. And there, you can see I can still reach the activate, I can reach the lever, I can put ores in, and the ores will come out on this side. Since then I've moved it, but we'll come over here and you see here is the furnace. There's an import slot, an export slot, an activate button, and a mold. This tells you the contents. If I put something in there, it's going to tell me what's in there and if it'll make anything or not. And I've also got the pressure and temperature. And if you go to the wiki, you can look for the furnace. It will tell you the temperatures and pressures needed in order to make certain items. So we want to make some steel. What I did was I took and put a pipe on the backside, and I've got a valve. This valve is for flushing the system. So at first you want to keep it closed, and you also want to keep it close to the furnace, because as you put items in here, this pipe will start filling up. And if you've got your valve all the way down here at the other end, you're going to lose your pressure. Now you do not want to set it right. You set an exhaust vent or passive vent right next to it. So you also need one of these because you need to empty it. If you set it right next to it, or as I had set it right here, but what I did was came out here, say right about here, about 4 or 5 frames away, and I put down a frame, welded that frame up, and then I put my passive vent. The heat and the temperature and the pressure and everything, and if you release all that right next to your machines, your base is going to catch on fire. These wires cannot handle 1,000 degrees. So you'll come around and you'll probably about maybe something like out here, you'll want to put that passive vent in. In order to get steel, we usually go out and get about 150 iron and 50 coal, since that's just even numbers. You can get as much as you want, and it's a 3-to-1 ratio. What you also need is a little bit of ice, volatiles, and oxide. And I can come over here, and right here's, I believe this is, yes, the dark blue is your oxide. It's got 10% nitrogen and 90% oxygen. So you just need a little bit, not a lot, just kind of hit it once or twice with the drill. And the pink reddish, this right here is your volatiles. And there's plenty of iron. And if you ever find a vein, dig all the way down. You see, I dig down and I find the edge of this vein, and I'm pretty sure it's all the way down through there. I try to keep it along the edge and find the entire vein. They are very big. So if you're having trouble trying to find it on the surface, go back to where you found it before and dig down. So now, while it's daylight, I'm going to do some prep work. Do like that. So there I've got my solder, and you can smelt these up in the arc furnace and turn them into ingots. The furnace will still take them. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, and I've got 11 coal. Do I have any more? There's my coal.
Jetpack on.
So I have, since I have less coal, I'm going to go 50, 61. That's 150 coal, or sorry, 150 iron to this one coal. And then we have 11 coal, so that's 33 iron. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. There's 33. Wait, 50, 1, 2. That one needs to go. So 33. Hopefully I did this right. And then I have 5 grams of lead over there. And that's a 1-to-1 on the coal. There that one was. We're going to dump that over here. It's minus 71. You have to do this at night because of the temperature. This is ice. It will melt in the sun. Unless you have... Now, on the moon, if you just have a dark space to go to, you don't have to worry about it. But on Mars, you do have to do it at night. Otherwise, the sun will... the heat will melt your ores. So there, I'm going to hit furnace. Oh, don't forget to close that. We don't want to dump all our gases out. So there I put a little bit of oxygen in there, and this works just like on engines and rockets. Oxygen rich, fuel rich. I'm going to make mine oxygen rich. See that? And activate 1. And I want to make it oxygen rich, so I should have put 2 in. So there we have temperature, and notice how all the gases are flying around. And that is because the furnace is not solid. It's got cracks in it. So there we got 100 iron. And I want to drop in another 50. And that's 150 iron. So then I'm going to drop in 50 coal and watch the temperature will probably not be enough. As I put ores in, it's making it cold. So that's not enough. There I want 11. 3-to-1. I want another 33 iron. And 33 coal. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here. And I'm going to split 1 hydrogen. And split 1, split 2. And activate. Activate. Come on now. Okay. Go ahead and dump that back down. Kind of do a reset. Come on now. The temperature's warming up. Woo! What the... Don't know what just happened there. Alright, so we're going to split 1, split 2. Split 1. Oop. There, it activated, and it melted the hydrogen that was just laying there on the ground. So now I should say 244 grams of steel. And just like that. Hit the... So now I'm going to come over here and grab the 5 lead. Drop it in. Make sure that that is closed. And I only have lead in here, and if I drop in 5 iron, it's too much pressure.
At least I hope it's too much pressure. Yeah. It has to be a low... There it is. Low pressure. I believe it's under 3.5. And there we have some solder. That will print out our APC. And then while I'm here, you know, and I've got some temperature going, I might as well drop the rest of this in, and I'm going to just leave that mold open. That way I can just keep dumping ores in and it'll keep smelting them. And we're not hot enough for the iron. So since we're not hot enough, probably hot enough for copper, but not enough for the iron. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. So I'm going to come down. Yeah, let's go. Now, I think we'll be fine. I hope we'll be fine. So there, and as you can see, it just dumps out. If I go stand in it, you can see the temperature change. And I'm going to turn that on and dump the rest of this gas out. You see it's 320 degrees Celsius. That's pretty hot. And that's exactly why you don't want to put anything near this. At least 3, maybe 4 frames away. The further away you are, the better. And eventually that'll even out. It's still 90 degrees. So I can turn that off and keep some of that pressure, but 40, go ahead and shut it down. Eventually that'll equalize out to about 2. We'll make our APC, and I'll just put my stacks in over here. You'll make it an area power controller, and that's what that looks like. So that way now I have one here, and then I'm also going to put one in up here. I want this to keep these powered at all times with a large battery. And you also probably want to make another large battery. Can't remember the exact amount that it takes. 162. What does this say? This says 20. Yeah, that's what's going on here. No. Oh. So this should be at vertical is 100%. Yes. Okay, so it is, they have changed things around. So now I need to get this information over to the other side. And I'm going to just turn that, and you see it's still 147. It's not the 160 that it was, but the sun moved. So as you can see, it doesn't make a difference which direction place it, but if your data is on this side, on the sunrise side, your solar sensor needs to be on the sunset side. So I'm just going to take that around, and that is going to come around and tie into here. So now what I want to do is I want to take this one down. Need to drop that. Go. And I guess I didn't have to take that out. Got my screwdriver. Look for my daylight sensor. There's my daylight sensor. I want the solar angle of 114. Now it should be outputting correctly. And is that the correct? Yeah, see, there we go. So a quick little review. I've got my daylight sensor on the sunset side, and that's because the data port is on the sunrise side, and I'm going to find that. With the in, I want the solar angle. Grab the screwdriver, make it a little easier. There we go. I want the logic reader to read on the first screw. I want the variable to be subtract. Logic memory 15. I want to take the logic math. I want to divide 1.5. I want the logic math to be less. Oops, sorry, less than logic 100. Min max. Going to come in, it's going to go to the solar panel, the variable will be vertical, and there they barely see them, but they are tracking. So, and then we have horizontal, and that's another story. Just set them to 90 degrees and they'll get the most of it. If you get 7 solar panels, as you can see, 7 solar panels is more than enough for what I've got. I've got a full battery every day, and I'm only using single axis. It can only take, somebody figured it out, it's like 4,500. So if that is full, you need to empty it. Then we just take that and move it over here into the corner. There we go. That's a good enough spot. Hopefully. There we go. Put that over in the corner. We'll put these wires up here ready for the next person. So there you have it. Thanks. And I hope this helps. Let me know what you're going to see next.